Dr. Judy is pretty against using peanut butter as a treat or in recipes, and there are actually a few reasons for that. So the first reason that actually, unfortunately, came to light when some dogs passed away was when we discovered that there was xylitol in common peanut butters. So xylitol is a sweetener and it is toxic to dogs. So you want to make sure, and it goes by a bunch of different names. It's not just listed as xylitol as an ingredient. So if you are looking at any labels for your pets and it's not specifically labeled safe for pets, you want to make sure that there is not any xylitol or xylitol derivative. It can cause liver failure, seizures, death. It's really, really a serious toxin for our dogs. So anything with xylitol in it, you definitely want to avoid, especially it can be pretty common in peanut butters. The second reason is actually peanuts are high in lectins, and dogs aren't able to actually process lectins, and it can actually cause an inflammatory response. So especially for our dogs with IBD or any type of inflammatory problem, feeding them peanuts is not going to help with that. If it's in a small amount, it might be a small amount of inflammation, but still not necessarily a nutritious treat that we want to feed our dogs that they can't even digest. They also block the absorption of nutrients, and that's really serious because we are obviously trying to feed our pets the best nutrition possible, and if you're pairing that with something that's actually preventing them from efficiently absorbing those nutrients, definitely not what we're looking for in a treat. Okay. Her next reasoning, let me see in her notes. Oh, so this I actually didn't know. Peanuts are high in phytates and phytic acid, and they can bind to calcium, magnesium, and iron in animals and humans, and consuming just 5 to 10 milligrams of phytic acid can reduce iron absorption by 50%. So this was a little tidbit from Dr. Judy, but I actually didn't know that. And they also reduced the digestibility of starches, proteins, and fats by inhibiting the enzymes pepsin, trypsin, and amylase. Okay, so another one in the no peanuts category. And then a big one, of course, for all things with our pets is going to be any type of contaminants. So peanuts can be susceptible to aflatoxins, and aflatoxins are actually a byproduct of molds. So that can happen before they're even harvested. It can happen after they're harvested if they're, not stored properly. And this is not just a problem with peanuts. It's a problem with corn, wheat, a lot of crops that we put into our pet foods. So aflatoxins, again, if they ingest enough of it, can be as severe as death. There was a few incidents there's different types of aflatoxins, but there was an aflatoxin B1 incident with a dog where it was a research study that they were tracking these dogs' ingestion of different levels of aflatoxins. And with aflatoxin B1, they noticed that there were not obvious symptoms before the dogs would pass away in some of the cases. So that's really scary because the dogs didn't even appear sick, even though they were getting basically poisoned with aflatoxins. And salmonella can also be in peanut butter, and that's one of the most common types of contaminants in the U.S. in our foods in general. But aflatoxins and salmonella, both, we do not want those in any of our foods for our pets. So that, in short, is why we do not recommend feeding peanut butter, even if it's just as a treat. Maybe almond butter might work a little bit better. You can use that for your pets. But dogs don't really need peanut butter.